All right. The title of this is very to the point. Uh, I just had another run-in with T-Mobile, uh, and I mentioned T-Mobile only because that is the company I'm currently using. However, this is just not about T-Mobile alone. T-Mobile is a factor in a ongoing uh, ongoing issue with all corporations, not just the telecommunications corporations, the food corporations, the energy corporations, the banking corporations, the uh, housing, the real estate. You name it, it goes on and on and on. Um, these these corporations have gone insane, utterly insane. It's no longer a the customer is an important factor. It's what the corporations dictate uh, should be high on their list, and that high on that list is to make money, is to save themselves cost at any way possible. No matter how insane, no matter how stupid, how completely and utterly out of touch it is. Because the concept of owning a business is that you have you will be faced with challenges, and challenges that could possibly endanger your business. There are costs to owning businesses, and one of the costs of owning a business is that your product or whatever you're selling has has a common sense value that and that includes innovation, it includes all that. However, when it's flipped and it's completely upside down, where the customer base plays no part other than extracting monetary value, then we have a situation where the corporations are making the rules and extorting in every conceivable fashion, and having the lobbyists write the legislation and the rules that excuse criminal behavior. That is when it has become insane. It's become upside down world. Prime example: I just came back from T-Mobile, the corporate store in Exton, Pennsylvania. I have a phone that's like 3 or 4 months old. I didn't have insurance. I didn't buy the insurance. It's still under factory warranty. I made the exchange order in Massachusetts as I was visiting my family, and on the way back, I went to another corporate T-Mobile store to get the exchange because I still had manufacturer warranty. Now, I was not told that I would have to pay a processing fee, and this is why I call it criminal, because process, whatever you want to call it, it's called extortion, and it is a criminal way of insulating themselves from any cost of doing business. So when I went to the Ixton store to exchange my phone out, which I shouldn't have to pay anything for T-Mobile to have me as their customer, I was told I had to pay almost $30, 28 something and change, to exchange a phone which is still under manufacturer warranty. Now, the cost of business should be that is that the product there's a default with the product, and we should exchange it for no cost to the customer because we value our customer. No, it's we the shipping cost has to be foisted on the customer, and the customer has to pay the privilege to T-Mobile to use T-Mobile. And unfortunately, that's not the only company. Every fucking telecommunication company, every company across the board does this same sort of bullshit. The same sort of extortionist bullshit. It's not enough that they're charging ridiculous sums and they have all sorts of other surcharges and other things that which they pushed and got the supposed representatives of the people to pass. No. It's not enough that they're allowed to poison us in our food, poison our water, poison the very lands that we need, the ecosystem we need. It's not enough to do all that. It's not enough to create poisons that get into our food, get into everything else. And I know I'm repeating myself, but this gets to the point of the matter. It's no longer the customer who keeps them in business are important. No, it's only how much they can extract and extort from us. That's what matters to them. How much that they can bank and hold, that's what matters to them. And any way you look at it, that's a criminal organization because it acts exactly like a mafia. You own a small business, and the mafia sends out his leg breakers and says, "Well, you have to pay us so that we can keep you safe, so that you'll be protected." That's exactly what this is. Except they don't need leg breakers because they have the government, and the government has the use of law enforcement, and law enforcement can do the exact same thing. And the policies and the legislations, that's what allows it to happen. It also is the media turning it around so that the people, the actual country, is vilified for wanting to have equality, wanting to have justice, wanting to have even Steven. I'm not against people having a business, a legitimate business, who don't have criminals calling themselves politicians, allowing them by the use of our quote unquote police and law enforcement and judicial system. I'm not against a business. I'm not. If you have a business, that's great, so long as that business is serving the public and the public is the focus. But that's not what it is. It's the corporations and the businesses which are the focus, and the public can go screw themselves. That's what it turned out to be. It doesn't matter if the cost of food is getting ridiculous and the quality of the food is dangerous. It doesn't matter for anything because they've cut out the people in their thinking. The very people who pay the money, who work to build it and make it, no, it no longer matters. It's the corporations and the businesses. And this has developed a level of insanity in the public. There's a growing sentiment, and the worst of those growing sentiments are those everybody, including the media, calls the right wing. Because they are the most dangerous factor. Why are they the most dangerous factor? Because they own the most guns. And they're not afraid to use them. Now, the media has been pushing the race baiting. The politicians have been pushing race baiting. The corporations are serving lip service to the race baiting, because they say, "Oh no, we're against that," but they keep on funding the race baiting. And while this may have worked in the past and may still be working somewhat, here's the problem: the right wingers know there's something fundamentally wrong in their own personal lives, in their friends and family, and they may buy it for now, but there's that underlying current, that boiling tea kettle ready to vent and create that whistling explosion. And that is something that is coming to the surface more and more and more. It no longer comes down to what the corporations, the media, or the politicians are saying. It's not that they're seeing through it. It's that they know that there's a fundamental disconnect. What's happening in Hungary serves perfectly. What's happening in France serves perfectly. What's happening in the Netherlands, what's happening in Portugal, what's starting to take place in Britain, what's starting to take place in Sweden, and all those other places. But that sentiment is starting to spread. Even here in the U.S., it's not waking, it's anger. Anger that knowing that there is something fundamentally wrong in their own personal lives. Yes, there has been a rise in right-wing ideology, but there has been a deeper rise in the feeling of being screwed over. And you can only use the immigrants, and you can only use black people, and Asians, and Russia, and China for so long, because the simple plain fact of the matter is even they can understand when they see that there's really no real, there's nothing real behind it, because there aren't a whole bunch of Asians, there's not a whole bunch of other minorities who are actually affecting their, who are coming in contact with them in their lives. They're gonna get to the point where they start, the light bulb is gonna go off, and they're gonna say, "Fuck, I've been fucked over." It's not all of these. I may still not like them, but they're not the ones causing me personal heartache, personal hardships. No. They're gonna come to realize who is actually causing it. What is actually causing it? They may not be the most brilliant people in the world, but they're going to come to realize that. And it's not years down the road. Oh, it's very, very close, eminently close. And when they do, they're going to go out and they're going to start targeting people who are politicians, officials. We already have the right wing killing cops, threatening cops, and that should scare the shit out of you. Why? Because that already indicates that they understand at a most basic level who's fucking them over. And they're going to completely forget about the race racial aspect. They're going to talk, forget about immigration because they're going to understand who the fuck it is causing them to have hardships. What you don't seem to understand is that the vast majority of people in the country is not the middle class. It's not the affluent middle class. It's the working stiffs. And even the affluent middle class is starting to understand that their bank accounts are shrinking, their buying power is shrinking, that their influence is shrinking. And that is what's going to make the tea kettle blow and whistle. But it won't be just whistling. That tea kettle is going to explode. And that's a danger that you face, that you don't seem to realize. Whether you call yourself a Democrat or a Republican, or even an independent, you don't seem to understand the very, very real danger. There's not enough of you. There's not enough police. And even the police are not going to go around when they see their own families and loved ones being affected. And the military certainly isn't going to take part in crushing it. You keep talking about leftists, far left, and progressives, and so on and so forth. But you know what? Here's a simple fact. The vast majority of the leftists and progressives don't have the money. They don't. They have some semblance of sanity. But even with the leftists, sanity is starting to go. And when I say sanity, I'm talking about the thought of nonviolence. There's only so much people can take. And whether we're black, we're Asian, white, brown, it doesn't matter. You can only push people so far. And that climax is coming. That climax is imminent. And you don't have the numbers. And it won't be a civil war. You know, I've made videos on civil war before. But you know what? I've made a reassessment. Because I'm starting to see critical things, critical aspects. And the thing is the ones that are going to be targeted are you. There's a famous video, not video, but audio with Nixon and Kissinger talking about people coming up to lynch them, to kill them. Well, guess what? That's going to happen. There is no ifs, ands, or doubts in my mind. And you can listen to all the eggheads who pander to your ideas, but the simple fact of the matter is reality is asserting itself. And you're fucking yourself over.